whatever, if you want to say it is a guilt, yes, including the guilt. So today we are going to understand all experiences arise in the mind. I will explain it. All experiences, all. What is all? That we will understand. An impure or deluded mind aggravates the situation and causes the suffering, guilt, depression, anxiety, sadness. So what are the three factors? Three factors of the mind are ignorance, attachment, and aversion. So how to understand that? It happens because of sankalpa and the vikalpa. Sankalpa and the vikalpa means the imagined realities based on my desire, my thought process. What is a desire? Desire is just a thought. So what we need to do, we have to cultivate self-awareness by understanding. So once that understanding is there in the intellect, and then we have to remind ourselves during the day, and then we are too far from any sort of negative challenges posed by the mind. Think of a lake, a clear lake that reflects the world around it. When the lake is still and pure, it reflects reality accurately. But when the lake is agitated by the winds of desire, lake is the mind. When the lake is agitated by the winds of desire and fear and the guilt that contains the distorted reality, same thing happens to the lake. It distorts the reflection. It creates sankalpa or the imagined realities that leads to problem, mental, emotional problem. So we have to deconstruct this delusion and the guilt which is present in our mind has come from where? We will talk about it. So, all experiences takes place in the mind. Question comes, should we rely on them or we should examine if it is coming from the delusion, ignorance, attachment, or aversion? Should we rely? All experiences. What is our life is based on all experiences. You don't examine them, you don't examine your experiences, you are going to have a problem. Majority, 99% of the people rely on their experiences without examination. We have a saying in the world, I have 20 years of experience. Really? Yes, we are going to examine. See that. I see a person, my mind reflects. So after reflecting, my mind says he is my son, he is my husband, or she is my wife, or he is my boss, or he is my employer. The person remains the same. Did you understand this? Whether you say me a teacher or a crazy person or a weird guy, I remain the same. But my mind reflected to have an experience. Take a lighter example. A person married because of his experience in 2020. Now his experience changes. In 2024, he divorced. Tell me which of the two experiences is right. I rely on my experiences. Do you see that? You are my friend. No, you are my enemy. Which experience? Both the experiences of friendship, of enmity, arose from the mind. Tell me which of the two experiences is real, which should I follow? Show me. So now come to the main topic. I have a guilt, I am stressed, I am sad, I am deluded. This is also my experiences. Is it not? Is it not? All experiences are taking place in the mind. You have to summarize it and you have to send back to me what you have understood. Our master says all experiences takes place in the mind. Are you the mind? Answer is no. So examine it. Which experiences to accept that will help you to grow and evolve? Which experiences you need to drop, dissolve, destroy? And are you listening?
Yeah.
All experiences, whether it is your experience, whether it is my experience, can you tell me the experience of this deep sleep where the world is not, where the relations are not absent, or the experience in the waking state, which experience is real? Which all experiences are taking place in the mind. In deep sleep, mind is not there. So the world is not there. Whether this world is crazy, whether this world gives me the experience of the sadness, duality, conflict in a waking state, the same world is absent in a sleep state. And in the dream state, there are other experiences. Tiger is chasing you. You are as a dreamer experience. When you wake up, you are sweating because of the fear of tiger is chasing you. Which of your experience is real? When we don't examine all our experiences, then what happens? These experiences creates an impression in our mind, and these impression takes the form of imagined realities, and imagined realities because of ignorance, and that causes the problem. Whether it is guilt or stress or anxiety or dual or conflict or hatred or jealousy.
That means we were living without awareness, right?
Definitely, that is the main point. We are living foolishly. One master says that you really wise or fool? So foolishness means that I'm living an unexamined life. I don't examine. I married in 2022 based on my experience. I divorced in 2024 based on my experience. Both are my experiences. Which one is real? I don't examine. I am living without self-awareness. This is the most beautiful phrase you told me, that I'm living without self-awareness. Throughout our days, weeks, months, and years, we have been living unexamined life, lack of self-awareness, and that then the mind has to take over. The mind, with its experiences of sadness, of reaction, of blame and complaint, they all are deposited and accumulated in my head at a deeper level of which I am not aware, and it manifests in the form of sankalpa and the vikalpa, and that results into conclusion of that experience, that I have a guilt, I have a stress, I have a suffering, and I start suffering. What a beautiful way our masters explains. Understand your mind. That is why our master says, Manaiva Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Moksha. Mind is the cause of the bondage. Mind is the cause of the suffering. But you are not the mind. Before you rely on your mind, why don't you examine this crazy mind? You have a beautiful backyard and where you grow your plants. Do you ever think that the weeds will also grow? The weeds grows. The same way the sankalpa and the vikalpa grows from our mind. And if you don't examine, if you don't live with the self-awareness, you are very alert, I know. You are mindful of your garden. In the back, you want to remove all the weeds. We have to first we examine, we understand, and then we will remove all the weeds from the mind, and the life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. No guilt, no suppression, no sadness, no anxiety. All the mental and the emotional challenges are based on the experiences of the mind. There is no doubt about it. All experiences, my anxiety, my sadness, my duality, my conflict, my stress, my guilt, is based on the experiences that is accumulated in the mind. I did not examine it. So when I don't examine, you don't remove the weeds. And the weeds has to grow, because you have that reflected impressions that continues in the mind. That is what I was talking about. The word, new word, so that you will easily, your mind will be attracted and catch up this word, sankalpa and the vikalpa. Sankalpa is the tendency of the mind to create imagined realities based on my desire, fears, guilt. It is a tendency of the mind. From where this tendency has come? The weed that is hiding in the in the soil of the mind at the unconscious level. You don't recognize the weed until they grow up. That is what the sankalpa is. So the moment any sankalpa of anxiety, duality comes, oh, what is the weed there? And that weed is known as the vasana. We have trillions of impressions, trillions and trillions of impressions. Whatever, every day you live your life with unexamined experiences every day. and they multiply. They find a good soil deep inside when I'm living an unexamined life with a lack of awareness. This is what happens in our Sankalpa originates from the past experiences. 1. Psychological tendencies. 2. Emotional responses. 3. Repetition in the form of a thought associated with emotions. 4. And lastly, I will add lack of self-awareness. Since our birth, we acquire some psychological tendencies, what it means, the way I respond or react to the different situations, people and relationship in the world. Psychological tendencies, the past experiences. 2. Emotional responses. 3. A repetition of the thoughts associated with emotions. All the 4 grow up like a weed in the mind due to lack of self-awareness, whether you say lack of self-awareness, whether you say foolishness, whether you say I don't examine my life and experiences. Then it has to grow. And once it grows, reaches to a point of threshold. So when it reaches to a point of threshold, then mind says, I have a guilt, I am sad, I have anxiety, I have a problem, what should I do? Mind has created the problem, and it is the same mind trying to solve the problem, keeping the same thoughts intact. We defined in the sadness. Definition is not going to solve the problem. I have to be aware of it, that this is not required. So the modern science defines anxiety in 49 ways, and I went into the WebMD, which has a definition of the medical term, and at the 50th point, they say that it cannot be defined. Then why you have given a 49 definitions? Are you making me fool? See that? So same thing with the guilt. You can find out the dictionary meaning, and ultimately when you go to the medical sites and find out the definition, and the last one they say the causes are still unknown. Come to the Eastern wisdom, we will tell you. We will define. We simply say it is Sankalpa. Before Sankalpa, it is the accumulated past experiences, psychological tendencies, emotional responses, repeating those thoughts associated with an emotion before Sankalpa. After Sankalpa, it is caused by the desire. I have a guilt now. I should not have a guilt. What should I do? No, remove the weed. Treat it. Don't worry about this guilt, but treat the root cause and then show me. And the main factor is all experiences takes place in the mind. I gave you 2 examples. You can create more examples. I married in 2022 based on my experience with a person. I divorced in 2024 Based on my experience, I want to know, my friend, which of your experience is real and which of your experience is false. Both are experienced by your mind. Where is the problem? You created an imagined reality of living in peace and the joy with the person in 2020. You created another imagined reality, which is sankalpa, that now it is the time to divorce because I cannot live with the person. Both are imagined realities. But why they are imagined realities, my friend? We have to answer that. That is what it will help us to raise our awareness. Why these are two imagined realities? Why the Eastern wisdom says? What a simple answer our master gives. That happiness is not the property of a person, an object, or a situation, or a condition in the world outside. Happiness is not the property of a mouse. I like mouse because first I like it, so I bought it and it gives me the happiness. Because of liking, liking causes the attachment. Disliking causes the aversion. You see the scrutiny when I'm living my life with awareness and I want to say, why the hell I always like this mouse? So I created an imagined reality. How? By attachment and detachment. So I have a son. Obviously, I created an imagined reality that the son should be happy. It is his life. How he lives, how he thinks, how he speaks. What can I do? Outer support. Whatever maximum support I can give, I should. But I should not be carried away by the imagined realities. Sankalpa. We have both positive sankalpa and negative sankalpa. Sankalpa can be positive and negative, based negative imagined emotions such as love, happiness, and also the fear, anxiety. Both. Why? Both these impressions are stored like a seeds of the weeds coming from past experiences, psychological tendencies, emotional responses, and repeated thought associated with emotions. So negative sankalpa manifests as imagined fear, anxiety, guilt, delusion, while positive sankalpa appears as imagined happiness, love, and peace. I have to maintain awareness. I have to remind myself happiness is not the property of anything in the world outside. It is inside. Mind imagines a romantic relationship will complete us and fill the void we feel inside. Not possible. Every romantic relationship ends in one or the other kind of a conflict. You are not romantic now the way you were romantic when we first met. You have also changed a lot based on your experiences. Why you are blaming me? I don't see I have changed because of my experiences. I only see others have changed. It's a negative emotion. Why it is so? Because the mind is attached to these imagined realities, creating desires for the external world outside. What is that imagined reality? We project peace and happiness, we project anger and anxiety, we project sadness. A guy, he's only 32 years old, he's a rich guy, builds houses which cost $10 million in Phoenix. So last year he told me that I take my dog for a walking in the evening, and after a few steps I was surrounded by the fear and anxiety. I said, you go to the gym, you are very strongly built, and I instantly recognize it is his imagined reality. But I wanted to explore from where it has come. So, no, lot of gangsters are crossing the border of Arizona, and we heard the news that they are present in the Phoenix area. And that is causing him the fear and the anxiety. Imagine reality. You see that. The weed can grow anywhere in any form with any thought associated with emotion. Now he is out of the fear. We have to get rid of these weeds, imagined realities projected. By thought, I constantly project. So I have to be aware of that thought. I have to cultivate self-awareness and meditation, definitely. My relationship with you, with a projected happiness on you, will fail all the time. But with the self-awareness, I develop loving relationship with myself. How? Oh, all these are experiences happening in the mind. I am not the mind. Let me enter into the state of the mindfulness here and now. I will not entertain those thoughts which creates a projection. So when you do not entertain with cultivating the self-awareness, your life is beautiful all the time. True happiness and inner peace are found within oneself. I did not answer the first question. When happiness and peace is not the property and the product and the part of anything in the world. I and you both, we love our son, kids, but at the same time I have to be mindful. Means I should love, relate myself to them with awareness, with a clarity that peace and happiness are not the property, product, and part of these people. So, how to deal with whatever they are doing, let them do. If they ask for a piece of advice, let me give them the piece of advice. Otherwise, go along with them. Babi always wanted after buying a house, no, I must be present. So that must was the insistence. I realized his expectations, and I said, let me meet her expectations with love, affection, and care. That is all. If I don't meet, then I am at wrong. No, what about her? Let her live the way she lives. She has expectation, and that is a good expectation. She is inviting her parents. So that's good idea. And I will see, I will live with awareness. I will see that they are happy in my presence. How? I will not expect anything in return. But I will see in whatever way I can give them, I will give. This is living with awareness. So even if other is not living in your relationship with awareness, that is okay. That is the nature of the world. But when I start learning this Eastern wisdom, it gives me a kind of a wisdom. How I should relate to an object, to a person, to a thing, to an incident, to my experiences, which sometimes bothers me, which sometimes attaches me. So I am mindful of those things, and based on that, the mind is clear. What is the root cause of this suffering, guilt, delusion? The tendencies, the root cause of this suffering is the mind's tendencies, psychological impressions, the past impressions, which I did not notice in my life, but now I become aware, understand that which thought, which psychological tendencies of the past is creating an imagined reality based on the desire. I drop it by understanding, by being aware. It is not required. Your mind says, I'm guilty. Drop it, mind. You have many experiences. Why the heck you are pushing me? Why you are repeating? Become aware. Treat the mind consciously. All experiences takes place in the mind. Which experience I have to rely, which experiences I have not to rely, based on my wisdom, understanding, examination. The guy who divorced in 2024, I asked him that did you observe your experiences? Both experiences are coming from the mind. 2020, 2024. The mind changed a lot, and you have two sets of experiences. 2022, you have an experiences with a attachment, that is your imagined happiness. 2024, it was your experience with an imagined aversion. You have to make a choice. So she told me that it means I should talk to him and find out the way to resolve this issue before I divorce. Answer is yes, but now I have divorced. I said, but you are wiser now, are you not? Yes, go and talk to him again. Did he find the girlfriend? No, because he was constantly insisting me, let us sit and talk, and I did not agree with him. So you see the projected happiness because of attachment, romantic relationship, soulmate, projected, projected aversion led to the divorce. And now she realizes after divorce that this problem is so simple. I have two sets of experiences. I should have changed this. I should have understood this. I said people do not contact me before they divorce. Their uh, only door is to go to the lawyer, an attorney. You see the projected imagination. I told you also before, I read the heading of an article. So she wrote an article which heading is that I have $1 million in my account. I want to divorce. How can I save $1 million? You are craziest guy. Simple answer. So it's a projected reality. But projected reality caused a lot of fear and anxiety. Once I go to the court, the court will ask me bank account. So I'm more scared of saving $1 million than divorce. So there are two problems. And from these two imagined reality, you have many more. And in the court of the law, if the man proves that infidelity on the part of the women, you will lose all the $1 million. Who knows what is going to happen? This is the nature of the mind we are living with. Our master says, what is the root cause? What are the three main causes of our suffering, whether it's a delusion or it is ignorance that you rightly said, lack of self-awareness. Second, why the lack of self-awareness? Because of attachment. And what happens because when I'm deeply attached, I did not examine, it results into delusion. And then we are constantly suffering. Constantly suffering. It's a 24 hours suffering. Before I sleep, I have the same thought. When I wake up, I have the same thought. What to do? Do nothing. All are your experiences of the mind. Examine which one is right. Keep it. Rest. Remove the weed. Oh, mind, you are causing this guilt and stress and suffering because of the past impressions, psychological tendencies, because of the projection, and I don't rely on your projection. You repeat these thoughts in your mind. You see, this is what happens in our daily life. We are living every day, every week, every month, every year with the same delusion in our mind. No, I have a pain. This lady, this quite interesting. She is still with me, and she said, my primary physician diagnosed me with a short of the fluid in my knees. I'm over 65 now, and I'm overwhelmed with the fear that I cannot work. I'm living alone. What will happen? I said, you have pain in the knee. Stop the rest of the thoughts. Stop projecting yourself in the future. Go to the doctor. Find the best treatment. Take it. You have the resources. You are already paying me for a private lesson. So get the treatment. It happened, I think, 3 years ago. Then I said, once she calmed down, I said, I have certain practices. Why don't you do those practices? And before any surgery, you do these practices and ask your doctor if they can wait. So 3 months she did practices with the total commitment. She went to the doctor. Doctor said everything is good. You don't need a surgery. Imagine realities. One aspect. Second is this aspect. I have to see all my challenges consciously. I have to understand where is the problem, how my mind aggravates the problem. I have also to look at it. I should not leave the mind unexamined. I am a human being. I have a self-awareness. So why shouldn't I use that level of self? She is still with me and her knees are working fine. Sometimes I joke around, how about your knees? No, don't talk about it. I'm very fine. Do you see how this our experiences that is taking place in the mind based on the delusion causes so much a problem in our life? First, the seeds of the weeds in the garden of the mind, which we are not aware, which thought, which event will pop up and create the sankalpa, we don't know. Why we don't know? Because I'm living an unexamined life. There is total lack of awareness. I am carried away by any thought that pops up in my mind. I don't examine. So it creates a sankalpa, the projected reality. Projected reality is not a reality. And there I need to cultivate self-awareness. Remember two important aspects of it. Through contemplation and reflection, means the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, followed by contemplation and reflection, will help you remove this delusion, this imagined reality. And the practice will remove the past impressions. So both knowledge and the practice both are required. I have to drive to your home. I have to put the Google map in my GPS. That is the knowledge part. Action part is practice of meditation. And that will take me to the higher level. Good, bad, high, low. Think of it. Hold on to this thought. Good, bad, high, low experiences, upset, sadness, anxiety, duality, conflict, pleasure, happiness, all experiences are taking place in my mind. If I am the mind, then let me take all the experiences are me and mine. But these experiences take place because based on psychological tendencies, past impressions. So I have to guard myself. Oh, is it happening because of delusion, projection, sankalpa, and vikalpa? Or it is a fact. Let's have a fact check. I should not get overwhelmed by the impulses of the mind, instincts of the mind, and habit of the mind. That is what we say. This mind is impure mind. And the impure mind is deluded mind. Impure mind can project any damn thing in the world. I am single. You are born single. You are born single. Contemplate on this idea. Contemplate on this idea. Everyone is single. No one is going to cremation ground with me. No one is responsible for my birth except my parents. Parents have already gone. Let me be ruthless to my mind which creates the sankalpa. And once you understand, then otherwise what happens? It causes anxiety and the worry. And then anxiety and the worry, it starts the negative self-talk. We start talking to ourselves negatively. It is a negative self-talk. We find we are feeling of low self-worth, guilt, and the depression. That is the cause of the depression. There is nothing, because I constantly dwell on that. With that projected reality, I did not check it. I did not understand it is coming from the weed. Then I have sleep disturbances, then we have physical symptoms. And this lady I was talking about who has a knee problem, she was having a constant anxiety. She was so much conscious. If any day she wakes up and she is sad, so she is asking why I am sad today. You know it better. Why should I tell you? Find out those negative self-talk. And once she got rid of all the negative self-talk, her knee problem is also solved. So I realized that it was 90% psychological and 10% physical problem. She is still doing good. She's almost 66 of my age. She says, no, I never think about it. My knees are working fine.
And how old is the lady?
She is 66.
Oh, that's young. The spring chicken.
Then I told her it happened because of your conditioning and the past experiences. It happened because of your psychological tendencies. It happened because of emotional responses. Repetition, and you are reinforcing the negative self-talk. And it is all because of the lack of self-awareness. So later she was saying that, why didn't you meet 20 years ago? I said, what happened? Even 20 years ago, I was married. No, I'm not saying that. I should not have divorced. It was my problem. So you see that, when you raise your bar of awareness, self-awareness, you realize, oh, it is happening because of the projected and imagined realities, imagined fear, imagined anxiety, imagined delusion. This is what happens to people almost every day. And after imagination, you have attachment and identification. You have aversion and imagined suffering. And that is what I realized in her. Then I seek a validation and approval from outside. No, you have to drop that idea, that thought. You have to raise your self awareness. Seeking validation and approval based on your one experience. But you have other experiences also. You have to analyze other experiences also.